What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sports Reality. My name is Jeremy John, here to bring to you all things sports, and I have my big my big bro in the building, Thaddeus. Patrice, how's everything with you?
Pretty good, man. I can't complain.
So, let's also welcome my man Max. Max, man, how are you doing?
I'm moving and grooving, man. I'm good.
Max, how was your weekend, man?
It was cool, man. It was cool. I went to a wedding.
Okay.
Yep, that was beautiful. Shout out to them, Shavana, Chad. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Here on Sports Reality in a real way. So that was Saturday, and yesterday I was doing shows here.
So, yesterday, as you could see, many of you all could probably see I'm sweating on camera, and not just me. We all are, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We're dealing with some stuff here, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, we got the AC fixed. The air's coming in. I can feel it now. It's gonna be all better.
We will
10
fight
minutes.
through it.
Yeah.
Just
That's why I had to make the run before we started. I was like, nah, man, I'm going to the bodega.
We'll fight through it. We have a lot to talk about. NBA Finals, of course. Actually, I am going to talk about the NHL for a little bit. Who would have thought I would have talked about the NHL, especially when the Caps are not in there. Also, Major League Baseball, we had two accomplishments this weekend on Saturday. Albert Pujols and Edison Volquez. And a lot more. Had a big soccer game. UEFA Champions League. Do you follow UEFA, Max?
Not too much. No.
What about you, Thad?
Of course. Of course.
So did you watch that game?
No, I was actually busy DJing and whatnot. So
Okay. Before we move on, let's start off with today in sports history. Today is June. I'm so used to saying May. It's now June. June the 5th, 2017. And on June 5th, 1927, Johnny Weissmuller set two world records in swimming events. Weissmuller set marks in the 100-yard and 200-yard freestyle swimming competition. 1963, the NHL held its first amateur draft. 21 players were selected. Montreal chose first and selected Gary Monahan. Also in the NHL, in 1967, the NHL was awarded 6 new franchises: the Minnesota North Star, which later became the Dallas Stars, the Oakland Seals, Los Angeles Kings, Pittsburgh Penguins, Philadelphia Flyers, and the St. Louis Blues received their NHL franchises. Let's go. Wow, nothing much has really happened on this day. 1989, the Toronto Blue Jays lost their debut game in the Sky Dome against the Milwaukee Brewers, and in 1991, Brett Hall of the St. Louis Blues won the Hart Trophy. The feat created the first father and son team to win the Hart Trophy. All right, Thad, first time on the show. Usually, I always ask people their experience in sports and also their favorite sports team. So go ahead.
went to DeMatha High School.
Okay.
Played football. Played lacrosse of all sports. Soccer. My favorite teams, of course, is Wizards, a.k.a. the Washington Bullets. Redskins.
I mean, we can't be perfect. We can't be perfect, I guess.
Baltimore Orioles. Now, I grew up when it was just the Orioles, no Nationals team. So I'm an Orioles fan. I will root for the Nationals, but Orioles are my team. Capitals, of course. That's about it, sports-wise, I would think. Team-wise.
So, yeah, like I said, we can't be perfect, I guess. You know, of course, you like the – I mean, I understand.
Look,
you live in the area. I understand. You know, Max is from Boston, so, you know, of course, he likes all the Boston teams.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean – can't be perfect, I guess.
It's not my fault because you like shiny stars.
Shiny stars. All right, so UEFA Champions League. I'm not gonna act like I even watched it. I just know Real Madrid. and I can be wrong. Which team is Cristiano Ronaldo? This is
Real
horrible
Madrid.
that
No.
I'm having a show talking about it. I'm not even sure
No,
which team he plays for. Cristiano Ronaldo, Real Madrid played. I know they played against Juventus.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that, and it was a 3-1 game. It actually was. Ronaldo scored in the 21st minute. Then in the 27th minute, we had Juventus tied up, but then Ronaldo scored again, and I think like the 60-something minute. And then they had, so it was 3-1, or was it 4-1? 3-1 or 4-1. Most Championship League victories, championships for Real Madrid. Now, no one would have thought I was going to ask this question, but will soccer ever be so large in America as it is everywhere else?
It's growing. Mm-hmm. I will say, like, even growing up as a kid in this area, playing soccer, our family being from the Caribbean, we're used to playing soccer, stuff like that, and watching it. But it's grown in this country. The only problem is U.S. soccer sucks so bad compared to the rest of the world. The development of it is it's growing. It's really growing. It's not going to ever be as big as over in Europe and stuff like that, but it's definitely growing a lot bigger now.
I would have to agree with you. Looking at MLS games and how these teams are now getting soccer-specific stadiums. When the league had just started, they were just playing in whatever they were given. Right.
RFK.
DC United is playing in RFK, but they are getting their own stadium. Every team in the very beginning played in a football stadium. Then they started getting their own soccer-specific stadiums. And now, not only were they getting their own stadiums, like these teams are selling out. Also, the salaries are going up. And now they're attracting overseas stars to come over here.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we had David Beckham at the very end of his career, but now I was watching the other day, I think it's the Orlando team or Miami team,
like part owner or something like that, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I was watching either the Orlando or the Miami team. They have Kaká, who just like a few years ago people were saying, the greatest soccer player in the game, and he's still pretty good, and he's over here playing. So I think it is growing. Of course, it will not be in the top 4 in America ever because, the top 4 sports in America, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, they've been here a long time. But maybe when we talk about the major sports, maybe it's the 5 major sports in like 20 years.
Right.
Max, what do you think about that?
I don't see it, man, to be honest with you.
You
Or
don't
it would take a while to get up there with those big 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think what would really expedite the process is if Team USA men,
Right.
the women are dominating, but the men's national team, if they were to actually, win a significant tournament, or come close to a World Cup or actually win the World Cup, I think then we will have a generation of kids starting from, as young as like 5 and 6 that will be like, well, yeah, I'm trying to play soccer now and I'm trying to be great. I know. Go ahead.
Shoot, we're happy when the men's team gets out of the group stage.
Yes, we really are. And the last World Cup, we were really ecstatic. They made it to the I guess quarterfinals, the final 8 teams, and that was a big deal. One thing here in the United States, our best athletes are not playing soccer.
No.
And I think at some point, our best athletes, not the best soccer players, our best athletes have to somehow get into soccer.
Right.
The only thing that the U.S. are really good at, they always have good goalies.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is because most of the goalies, like Tim Howard and some of the older goalies, they played basketball or baseball or football on top of their soccer experience. Right. So, and they're usually tall, athletic guys. So they're pretty good compared to other countries where,
it's just one sport.
It's just one sport. That's dominating all the time.
Yeah, and then people just on that, and it's just like a culture.
So that's one thing U.S. is really good at, goalies. But other than that, we're not looking too good. And I think if the U.S. national team, and I'm gonna bring it all the way back to the UEFA Champions League, if the U.S. national team does well in international competition, it will trickle down to the club teams.
Oh yeah.
And then there'll just be more exposure. Players will love to come to the U.S. eventually and perform and actually get paid. That's another thing. Paychecks aren't as big as over in the Barclay League or the Spanish League or the German League. But yeah, at some point I think it will. But I agree with you. The sport has definitely grown.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I will say this.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. And maybe this sounds messed up. Chicks that play soccer. Maybe the highest percentage of good looking females. Not to just say to reduce them to something like that. I'm just saying I meet lots of pretty girls that play soccer.
No doubt.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, and
so shout out to them.
And I mean, let's be real, man.
It's sports. It's not the men show. It's the sports show.
The demographic is men. Right. Probably 70% men. And one thing about women's soccer that actually grabs eyes is they're pretty good.
Yeah, before this is gonna be a runaway train. This is I don't want to say that's not why I'm saying it that's not a make or break thing. It's just a side observation.
It is.
That doesn't have anything to do with the success of the soccer.
I definitely understand.
It's a great observation.
And I agree with you. I mean, we kind of see it. Let's be real. It's not as drastic, but we see it with men's basketball. Yeah, there are plenty of people who don't really watch, but then they're like, oh, well, I mean, the guy LeBron James is, cute. Or
but we don't take them as, it's not like that's a serious.
Yeah.
They don't count here.
I definitely understand what you're saying. Definitely understand.
No, it's a side observation.
Talking about LeBron James. Before we even get to game one of the finals, his home in L.A. was vandalized with racial slurs. He came out and pretty much said, no matter how wealthy you are, it's pretty tough being black in America. And then that's when someone by the name of Jason Whitlock from Fox Sports, he used to be on ESPN, but now on Fox Sports, came out and said pretty much, and I wish I had the video, but I could not get it for you. Pretty much came out and said it's not tough being LeBron James because you're wealthy, and that race really only affects the poor. And pretty much said LeBron James' life is really good, that he would never trade places with a poor person, but he specifically said a poor white person. He also had some other outlandish comments. Let's start off with I guess Jason. Well, actually, it's not. Yes, his house was vandalized, and all I gotta say, it happens quite frequently. It just happened to happen to LeBron James, in my opinion, right now. Right. We've seen it on the local news where someone's house or their property gets vandalized with racial slurs. It happens, and I guess it happening to LeBron James, even in that wonderful community of Brentwood, California.
Wasn't that where OJ's house was?
Yes. All right. He's in the same. I mean, Brentwood is small, so he's probably in the same neighborhood, nice. or he's in walking distance of OJ's home.
Shout out to the Juice.
Yeah, the Juice is. I mean, the Juice. Free my man. Free my man. He's on parole this year. What? So I mean, I don't know. They may keep him down, but I mean,
right.
Let my man out. Free the Juice.
Juice.
But yes, he pretty much said even though he lives in that great community, even though he is well known and
that's also his second home.
Yes, that's his second
according
home.
To Mr. Whitlock.
Yes. He said he still have to deal with things. Whitlock pretty much disagreed. Whitlock even said this, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, when I leave the studio today and I go home, and I'm paraphrasing, not a direct quote. He said, when I pull up to my apartment, a white or Latino guy is going to take my keys and valet my car. And he said a Latino or a black person will be at the concierge and ask me if I need anything. And I'm going to go upstairs to my apartment and I'm going to enjoy the day. He said, people like me, when you have money, we don't deal with racial issues. And he went on and on. Then I guess it was either later that day or the very next day, him and Chris Broussard got into it, where Chris Broussard brought up time after time where these things happen. I mean, and Jason Whitlock just tried to brush it off. Thad, what's up with your boy Whitlock? And I'm saying your boy because he ain't my boy.
Wow.
He's no one's boy.
I'm passing him on.
Like my man Major Hype. Wow. But Whitlock's a fool, man. I watched that video and I'm just like, who are you? You know, like that really doesn't make any sense. So basically you're saying anybody with money no issue. At that point, it doesn't matter if you're black or white or Asian or Hispanic. Any issue that happens against you, if you have money, you don't have to worry about that. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said.
You know,
he said he didn't see the graffiti. His handlers probably handled it within
minutes.
Yeah,
right.
And all of that, and things like that.
And Broussard was like, "Look, you don't know if his kids were there. It's about his kids. Like his kids could have been in Cleveland. Who knows? But you know, would you want your kids to see something like that?"
Also, you don't know if it's going to escalate. Right. Obviously, we don't even know who it is.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know if it's. I mean, obviously, they found out where he lives. Right. I understand it's California, but still, finding someone's house is actually kind of hard. So the fact that you found it and realized it was him, and you knew that even though he's barely living there, that a black person lived there, you knew enough that obviously it was LeBron James' home, and you don't know what the next step would have been. Would it have been death threats?
Right.
Would it have been, an actual action toward that? So, but Jason Whitlock, he's just a clown. He's a company fool for Fox Sports. It was real bad that even Colin Cowherd was just like, "Whoa, like, all right, I don't totally agree with you on this one." Right. And it was pretty crazy.
This is my show, Chris. This is my show.
Yeah, that's what he said. This is my show. Max, you look like you had something to say. What were you
I was gonna say Jason Whitlock obviously sounds absurd. Absurd in this.
He's Uncle Ruckus.
We got the clip.
Oh,
we want to play that for the people. Too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Boom. So a 2 Raw for TV. Well, I'm giving it to you too.
I just want to go back to an analogy that I may have to explain to you after the show. This smells like Suge Knight, all up in the videos. And I'd rather have P. Diddy, who played the background, and this smells like Suge Knight, all up in the videos. And I'd rather have P. Diddy, who played the background, and let Biggie be the star, rather than Suge Knight up in every video.
One later, no problem, Max.
I mean, they even showed how much of a clown.
I mean,
there's a whole nother piece. There's like,
wow. It's all good. But that was before Game 1. LeBron James had to, I guess, he spoke about it. And obviously it's a big enough issue. I mean, who wants to hear that your home is being vandalized, not just vandalized with racial slurs. Then you have to deal with Game 1. And Game 1 was probably close for about, it was close to about halftime. Did you get a chance to watch that then?
Yeah, I liked it. You know what I'm saying? Halftime, first half, I'm like, Cleveland could definitely probably pull this out in Oakland. LeBron was on fire. You know, he almost had, I want to say he was real close to a double-double by halftime.
By halftime, yep.
You know, and then next thing you know, KD was still doing pretty good. Well, not surprisingly, but he was doing good. I was surprised. And next thing you know, good Golden State as always just started throwing up threes, and there you go. There's the game.
Yeah. Golden State, I mean, okay.
It's a cheat code, man.
Yes, it is. I definitely said this July 4th on this very show, the day everyone found out that Kevin Durant was going to Golden State. I said he's going to win a championship, but I feel like maybe the first year it wouldn't happen because something flukish would happen. And even up until last week's show on Monday, I said logically I'm going 5 Golden State, but I just have a gut feeling that Cleveland will somehow win. I'm already prepared to say that I was totally wrong. This is probably ending in 4. I'll still say 5, but it's probably ending in 4. Starting with game 1, Durant had 38 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Also, Steph Curry played pretty well. I think he had close to 30 points. One thing about game 1, Draymond Green and Klay Thompson didn't really do anything when it comes to the points. Draymond Green definitely played great defense.
Same thing with I'll give Thompson that too.
Klay Thompson?
Yeah,
Klay Thompson. He plays really good defense. Let's talk about the people who did not show up for the Cavaliers. Tristan Thompson. You want to hear his stat line for a starting? I guess he starts at the center position for the Cavaliers. In 22 minutes, had 0 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 turnover, 2 fouls.
See, it's Tristan Thompson. You're not expecting him to put up points. It's Tristan Thompson. He's not that great offensively, but the fact that you only had 3 rebounds is an issue to me. Do you have any blocks?
I understand LeBron James had 15 rebounds and Kevin Love had 16, so it takes away some of the potential rebounds that Tristan Thompson would have had. However, 3 is still not enough. No. And that 0 for 3 from the field when you're right. It's Tristan Thompson, but Tristan Thompson has to do something offensively. Get a rebound, put it back up.
Right.
But
he only had 3 rebounds.
Yeah. I mean,
so, I'm wondering if those 3 defensive rebounds or offensive.
I'm sorry. He had 4 rebounds, 3. Wow. He surprisingly had 3 offensive rebounds, 1 defensive rebounds. That makes it really worse.
Yeah.
That makes it really bad.
Those 3.
Those are second chance points that you probably allowed, which he did. I watched the game. He, with him not getting rebounds that he typically would have gotten, led to second chance points. Golden State Warriors, they had, I think, over 10 turnovers in the first half, and they were up by 12, 62-50 at halftime. They were playing really bad. They also missed a lot of layups, wide open shots, and they were still up by 12. And I said, this is going to be a bad sign for the Cavaliers. And it was, because the Golden State Warriors won 113-91. I mentioned Kevin Durant doing this thing. Kyrie Irving, I mean, something's a little off. He was 10 for 22 from the field, 24 points. And that's 45% field goal percentage. So you're going to say, hey, that's pretty good. But Kyrie Irving was just dribbling the ball way too much. And it was like the Cavaliers take way too long to get into their offensive sets. Another thing that the Cavaliers, it's funny that I just said it took too long to get in their offensive sets. However, the Cavaliers also were trying to run up and down with the Warriors.
They're not going to.
I know that sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but it'll be like this. Cavaliers would get the ball, they would run up the court, try to get something, and then Kyrie's dribbling for about another 7-8 seconds. Finally, they start an offensive set with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. So they were trying to run with the Warriors, which is not a good thing. If you are going up against the Warriors, you need to slow the game down.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You need to slow it down, limit the amount of possessions, and they were not doing that.
Cleveland was doing that in the first half, I'd say, because that's when the game was still close. But then after that, they started to try to run with them. They can't do it. They don't have the players to run with them. They just don't. Plain and simple.
They definitely do not. Definitely do not. Moving on to game 2, and everyone said, okay, game 2 is going to be closer, and maybe this is the time for the Cavaliers to steal one on the road. And someone made a surprise return to the court, Steve Kerr, back from complications from his back surgery, returned to the sidelines, took over the head coaching position for the Golden State Warriors, and the game started. It was pretty close, and it was close at halftime. It was only a 3-point game at halftime, and the final score ended up being 132-113 Golden State. LeBron James had a triple-double and had his 8th triple-double in the finals, which tied the NBA record set by Magic Johnson for 8 triple-doubles in the NBA Finals. And he had a very good game, very efficient, 12 for 18 from field goal. His field goal percentage was 66%, 4 for 5 from the free throw line. And he had 11 rebounds, 14 assists, only 4 turnovers, had a block, had 3 steals, had a monster jam over Andre Iguodala. Kevin Love had a double-double also, 27 points. Sorry, not a double-double, 27 points, 7 rebounds. But you could say efficient 27. Of course, he was kind of lacking on defense, but you know that's what you're going to get. This is where things went crazy for the Cavaliers. J.R. Smith had 0 points in 13 minutes. Channing Frye, who got in the game, went 1 for 5. He made the toughest shot and missed 4 bunnies. Richard Jefferson, 7 points. Okay, that's fine. You're coming off the bench. Kyle Korver, he had 8 points, but he's been a disappointment. Darren Williams, 0 points. Iman Shumpert, 6 points on 1 for 6 shooting. I
actually liked his energy. I liked his energy during that game.
His energy was really good. I would agree, but
that's about
offensively, my goodness, man. I mean, I thought at some point he was going to progress, but he is not.
Nah.
So let's talk about real quick Darren Williams, Kyle Korver. These were the guys that several months ago everyone said these are the guys that are going to help Cleveland repeat. You got an outside shooter and you got a playmaker. Remember the Cavaliers were looking for a playmaker. And they got Darren Williams, and I remember several publications, several news outlets, and they were saying this is the playmaker that the Cavaliers needed to get over the hump. He's done absolutely nothing in this final. 0 points in 2 games. Nothing. On the flip side, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, man, he 33 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. Steph Curry had 32 points. So, yeah, one guy 33, another guy 32 points. Draymond Green, 12 points. Oh, and Klay Thompson dropped in a quiet 22 points on 8 for 12 shooting, and everyone said he's struggling.
And that was game 2 or game 1?
Game 2.
Okay.
Isn't that something that people could say you're struggling and you went 8 for 12, scored 22 points?
Yeah. I mean, they're the Splash Brothers. They're going to put up points. You already know they are. But it's like game 1. I'm thinking everybody's like, yeah, he's having a bad time because game 1 and most of the playoffs, he hasn't really done nothing compared to the regular season. But when you have so much offensive firepower on that team.
Yeah, it's one basketball.
You know what I'm saying? You literally have a team that has their top 4 players are all shooters. They can all shoot. Mm-hmm. Then you have a center as pretty good offensively. Like, you can't match that. You just can't. You can if you have the right pieces in play. But we're talking about Steve Kerr. We're talking the triangle. Along with I was thinking about this on the way here. What was the coach with the Phoenix Suns? The whole running gun.
D'Antoni.
Yeah, it's like a mix between Phil Jackson triangle and D'Antonio offense. It's crazy. You can't do nothing with that right now.
Yeah, man.
Cleveland's not built for it.
They aren't. They're definitely not built for it. Definitely not built for it right now. I'm already saying it. Warriors are probably going to sweep or win in 5 games. So I want to direct my attentions to Kevin Durant. Last week I definitely said Kevin Durant would have to be the guy that is dominating and the Warriors to win for it to be, I guess you could say, validates his move. And I'm still kind of like, you know what? I don't even think winning the championship really. I mean, for his career, yes. If you're one of those players that you say, hey, I want to win championships, that's fine. But if you are one of those guys that you claim that you want to win championships while also being the alpha dog, nah, you don't get it. I don't care that you're averaging 30-something points during this NBA Finals. I think part of the reason he's averaging that much when it comes to scoring is because he doesn't have to worry about his other players, other teammates.
Right.
Like, Steph Curry is the defending MVP, 2-time defending MVP, the 1-time unanimous MVP. You also have Draymond Green, who I want to say was Defensive Player of the Year last year, or at least a candidate, and is definitely a candidate this year. You have Klay Thompson, and then you have a good bench. I just think it was, and I'm saying it again, I've been saying it for months. Of course he's going to play well with this team, but I also think it's pretty weak of him to make that move. And yes, he's probably going to win a championship, but 30, 40 years from now, we ain't going to be like, yeah, that man was that killer.
Right,
like, to me, he doesn't have that, and I'm not saying players have to have that killer instinct, but he's not that guy. I don't care if he's averaging this many points and they're probably going to win. You had to go to a team that had already 3 All-Stars. You had to go to a team that was 73-9.
Right.
You had to go. You had to go to the team that beat you when you had a 3-1 lead on them.
Right.
And also, people talk about LeBron James. I understand he went to Miami and he made the decision, but LeBron James went to a Miami team that hadn't won a playoff round in years.
What, since Shaq was there?
They had won in 2006, the NBA Finals, and from 2007 on to when LeBron finally got there in 2010-2011 season. They hadn't won a playoff round. So you went to that team. They, of course, won. I understand. They had Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and a whole bunch of role players. Pretty good. LeBron James
was the best player on the team.
He was the best player on the team. LeBron James makes his way back to Cleveland, and people say, oh, you left one stacked team to go to another. Do you want to hear Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love's combined playoff record before LeBron got to Cleveland?
Playoff record?
Yes.
There's an actual record?
Well, I mean, there's a record, I guess, because it's 0-0. Like, they hadn't been to the playoffs. Like,
nah.
Cleveland was in the lottery 4 years. LeBron wasn't there. They got the number 1 pick 3 of those years because they were that bad. So I understand LeBron went and he has teammates. I'm not saying he doesn't have, but when you're going up against a team that literally is the Western All-Stars, I mean, what do you expect?
Right.
Like, what do you expect? And honestly, if you don't like LeBron, I guess you can't use this finals as a reason to say you don't like LeBron. He's balling.
Right.
I mean, this team just isn't as good as theirs. And, it's partly because Kevin Durant really changed the competitive balance. Mm-hmm. It'd have been real interesting if Kevin Durant wasn't there
yeah.
and was in OKC.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I mean, it's a wash.
It's weird. It's weird because I saw a stat. I don't know if it was like a Facebook meme or something like that, but it was LeBron was 2 for 7 against Golden State when he didn't score 30 points.
Uh-huh.
So far in his finals, he hasn't scored 30 points.
Oh, no, he had 30.
No, did he have 30?
Yeah. But they're still losing.
What was it, like 31 maybe?
Yeah, I think he had 29 last night. Game 1, I think he had 30 something. But hold on, let me.
30 in game 1.
But let me double check that. Oh no, you're right. He had 28 points. You're
28 points. And then you know what? If they want to compete, LeBron's gonna have. I mean, LeBron's balling regardless, but you're gonna have to have Kevin Love and Kyrie score on the upwards of 30 points.
Kyrie's the key.
And LeBron score 40 points the rest of the series. That's where it's gonna have to go.
The big three for Cleveland are going to have to combine for 80 points.
Easy.
They're going to have to combine for 80 points. And the role players,
right?
And like I said, the role players, everyone, J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson, Iman Shumpert, Darren Williams, Kyle Korver, Channing Frye. You got to put Derek Williams in there to mix it up, something.
Yeah.
Those 7 players have to combine for close to 30 points. Yeah. Is that a lot to ask for 7 players? Well, I know they have different roles, but is that a lot?
But think about it.
And that's not bench players. You still got
right. Yeah,
I mean, so you're talking about for 5 bench players.
You got a couple starters.
You know, you're talking about for 5 bench players, maybe 20 points.
It's not a lot to ask.
It's not a lot
to ask at all,
especially with the resume that they have.
Right.
It's definitely not, man. So yeah, I think it's over, man. But I hope it's not, because as much as I enjoy baseball, I mean, I'm not trying to be watching it from now until.
Look, baseball's best in October.
Yeah.
So we have an issue now. If this finals goes this short, we have nothing.
Nothing
until August. Well, September.
Yeah. August. I mean, people. You know, we get so excited about football.
Yeah.
We get so excited about the most meaningless football.
Football's back. Yes.
Let's quickly go to MLB news. Last Monday, like right after the show, just a few hours after the show, there was a brawl between Bryce Harper and was it Strickland from the San Francisco Giants. Strickland hit Bryce Harper with a baseball. Because Bryce Harper, of course, hit 2 home runs on him 3 seasons ago in the playoffs. Hadn't met up with him since.
Right.
First pitch throws a ball at Bryce Harper. Harper already knew that was what it was for. Charged the mound. Harper threw his batting helmet. Didn't do anything, but he definitely threw them hands and caught Strickland a couple times. Broke it up. Both players were suspended. Harper actually just returned yesterday. And Strickland, I think, has a couple more games before he moves on. I mean, before he is back in the lineup.
Right.
But did you see the brawl?
I did see the brawl.
What you think about it, man?
I thought it was kind of weak. I mean, Bryce. Originally I thought he was going to throw the helmet at him, but it was like he had a second. A thought in his head happened, and he was like, "Okay, never mind."
I think he just didn't do it properly.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, I threw this, and now I got to really throw it out. Now he got it in 2 punches.
Right.
Got it in 2 that were good.
Yeah.
Strickland got in 1, and then they kind of broke it up. I actually liked it that Bryce Harper, being the star that he is, didn't allow this to happen, because we see it a lot of times. A lot of star players are just like, oh, I'm gonna let this go, and he's like, nah, man. We're going to handle it. And it's also a sport where fighting is acceptable. So, unlike the NBA, fighting is acceptable.
Well, we know why in the NBA.
Well, we definitely know why. Because the fans are too close. That's why. The fans are too close, so it can spill over into the crowd. That's why, definitely. But so that happened. They were suspended. The question that a lot of people asked was Buster Posey, the catcher for the Giants, kind of just stood there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, yo, if you're his catcher, you got to kind of step in.
Right.
Make sure he doesn't get 60 feet away.
Right. He could have ran up and grabbed Bryce real quick.
Yeah. And he did nothing. No. And I think because Buster Posey is not about that life.
No.
He already complained before he had that major knee injury, he complained about blocking the plate. And then he did, and he tore his ACL. And then Major League Baseball had to change rules because of it.
Yeah.
He's that type of person. He's gonna He's. I mean,
he's like, I'm just gonna stand there.
Yeah,
no, forget it.
I mean, he's soft.
Yeah.
I say it. He's soft. He's a baseball player, but he's soft.
He's a buster.
He's a buster.
He's a buster.
It's so fitting. So fitting.
Definitely.
Other news in baseball.
We have that clip real quick if we want to play for the people.
Which one?
That brawl.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
It was just them two, and then it went the whole bench, right?
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go.
Whoa! History. And Bryce Harper wants a piece of Hunter Strickland. Here they go. Strickland lands a punch. Harper lands a punch. Bench is empty. And if that was unintentional, Hunter Strickland just totally lost his command.
We told you there was history. And that goes back to the playoffs a couple of years ago. And that was intentional in my mind.
Oh, man. Buster did absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Yes,
right?
with the mask on. Like, he didn't even take... Other news in baseball, Albert Pujols joined the 600 home run club. He is the 9th player to reach that accomplishment.
Congrats. I didn't think he was that close.
I didn't think so either, but when you think about math, man, you're talking about close to 30 home run. Actually, more than 30 home when you average it out. I don't know how many years he's been in the league, but he's definitely been in the league for a while. Close to 30-plus home runs a year. Like, that's impressive. I don't think he's going to, of course, catch Barry Bonds, but he's definitely going to pass. He's definitely going to pass Babe Ruth, because Babe Ruth is at 614.
614.
Yeah, 614. So I think he's definitely going to pass him. He's also, the next goal is the 3,000 hits, and he's only he's not that far from 3,000 hits.
Wow.
You want to hear something about another player that's not far from 3,000 hits? Adrian Beltran is only 40 hits away.
Wow. What? I had no. I know.
Only 40.
He's old. Don't get me wrong. He's old compared to the rest of the league. He's pretty old, but I didn't think he was that close.
I didn't think so either.
Wow.
Man. Other news in baseball: Edison Volquez threw a no-hitter against the Diamondbacks. I saw the 9th inning, and he still had stuff going in the 9th inning. And interesting, it was in the first inning. I want to say the first or second batter. He had to go cover first base, and he collided with the runner, got the runner out, and they were about to take him out of the game because of they said his ankle was bothering him, and he said, "Nah, I'm fine. They let him pitch. He ended up pitching a no-hitter in front of a crowd of probably 3 people in Miami, because you know how the Miami Marlins are.
Right.
Wonderful stadium, I hear, but people ain't going to that.
Summertime.
Go see that
Summertime
team.
in Miami.
Exactly, man. I got to put a better product out there. But Edison Volquez, no-hitter. So that's a great accomplishment. Your boy Aaron Judge for New York, he's out here smacking home runs for the Yankees. You know at the Sky Dome how they have the hotels that are in the stadium, correct?
Right.
He hit a batting practice ball, and he hit one of the windows in the Sky Dome. That's about 500 plus feet.
What?
So this dude is definitely doing his thing. Let's quickly move on. Stanley Cup Finals. Let's be brief about this. Has been more exciting than the NBA Finals. The Pittsburgh,
Smashville.
Pittsburgh Penguins. They won the first 2 games in Pittsburgh. Nashville won Game 3 on Saturday. There was some drama. PK Subban said Sidney Crosby was talking about his bad breath. Crosby said, "I never said such a thing." Game 4 is tonight. I do think Nashville is going to tie it up, and I think if Nashville ties it up, I think they're going to end up winning the Stanley Cup in 6 games. Where do you think that's going?
It's tough, man. It's real tough. I don't want to see Pittsburgh win another one.
I hate Pittsburgh.
I'm a Capitals fan. I hate Sidney Crosby. But, I give credit where credit's due. He's a good player. I will say he's probably the best in the NHL.
Pittsburgh is one of those cities on this show, because we've been doing this show for a long time, that we have just disrespected the city. Like there's very few cities we've disrespected, and Pittsburgh is one of them.
Yeah.
And it's all because of sports.
Yep.
So I definitely don't want them to win the Stanley Cup. Let's quickly, we got about like 5 minutes, and I want to talk about some NFL news, which is literally the only thing that's, this offseason has been really quiet when you think about, I guess, the frequency of news coming out in the NFL. The only thing we've been talking about is Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
To be honest. Usually every offseason there's about like 10 different stories we could talk about.
Right.
We usually have just been talking about Colin Kaepernick. And before we get to that, Jeremy Maclin released by the Chiefs, surprisingly.
Wow. Andy
yesterday.
Did that?
Yeah, yesterday.
He did that. Wow.
So he is on the market. And LaShawn McCoy of the Buffalo Bills is trying to recruit him to go to Buffalo. Tyrod Taylor. I mean, if he were to go there, Maclin to go with McCoy and Sammy Watkins, because the thing about Sammy Watkins, he was just always injured.
Yeah.
So they didn't have a number one receiver there. But if you get Jeremy Maclin there, take some of the pressure off of Watkins, they can be pretty decent. I mean, they're going up against the Patriots.
Right.
Still. So I understand it's not going to be as easy, but should be an interesting match there.
Definitely interesting.
But Colin Kaepernick, we've been talking about him, and I've been saying for weeks he should already have been signed to a team, because there have been numerous bums who have got signed already. There are some starters in the NFL that are not better than Colin Kaepernick. And when I say not better talent-wise, not better for that scheme. I'm just going to name you a couple teams. The New York Jets, he's better than every quarterback on the Jets roster right now.
Who does the Jets have on their roster?
Bryce Petty, Christian Hackenberg.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Well, see, I like Hackenberg, though.
Hackenberg is garbage.
He was a Penn State guy. He was pretty dope. He was dope at Penn State.
He was garbage. I mean, he's garbage.
I'm not going to say he's a starter quarterback in the NFL, but he was a dope college quarterback.
Yeah. He's better than every quarterback for New York.
Yeah.
He's better than any quarterback in Chicago.
Yeah.
Those are two. He's better than any quarterback in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, Jacksonville, they just have so much invested in Blake Bortles, you just can't bring him in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: he should be the backup quarterback for my Dallas Cowboys. He's better than any backup the Cowboys have, and he could run the same scheme that Dak Prescott's running.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing, pretty much. So there's just a couple teams that I'm already just thinking. But
he could come to the Skins. To be honest with you, as a backup. I mean, we really don't. We have Colt McCoy. I mean, we ain't seen Colt play in
donkey years,
3 seasons.
But interesting comments came from the owner, Wellington Mara of the Giants. He mentioned the reason why some teams are not trying to sign or not interested in Kaepernick is because fans have been, requesting that teams not sign him. He pretty much said last season, not recently, last season when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for the national anthem, he said fans of the Giants were writing the team letters pretty much saying, yeah, if any team were to sign him next season, we'll boycott the NFL. And he said fans even said they will boycott the Giants if the Giants were to sign him. And I said, really? Like, really? People were writing you since last season to say, hey, if you sign him, even though you have Eli Manning as your quarterback, why would you sign Colin Kaepernick?
Right.
But I just felt like his team didn't even need a quarterback, so he didn't even there was no interest for Kaepernick. But I also find it really crazy how him, Wellington Mara, and these fans didn't have an issue with Josh Brown, the kicker,
right,
beating his wife, physically abusing her, verbally abusing her, emotionally abusing her. Also, the NFL knew about these issues because at the Pro Bowl, NFL security had to step in and remove his family from the hotel, move them to a whole nother hotel.
From him.
This is a kicker, the same kicker that people say are not even part of the football team.
Right.
You defended a kicker, and only until TMZ dropped the bomb about what was going on is when you cut him. But you tripping about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during the national anthem.
They're tripping for sure. And, like, whether or not dude is gassing it up about, we got 1 million letters, like, nah, maybe y'all got 1 letter. But there's some truth in his statement that, like, we know this is not about football. It's not about Colin Kaepernick's skills that he's unsigned right now.
No.
It's
all about his social views.
Man, come on, man.
And it's Muhammad Ali, 1 year anniversary of his death this past weekend. Colin Kaepernick, 30, 40 years from now, we're going to say, wow, man, he was really onto something.
Yeah,
really
he did
progressive.
That. He did that.
Like,
Shout out Kaepernick.
But it's not happening right now.
Right.
It's not happening right now, and they're really unfortunate. I think he's a fit definitely as the backup in Seattle and in other teams. Like,
no doubt.
I mean, if I had time, I'll go through the roster and say who he's better than. There's no reason why Ryan Fitzpatrick should have a job before him. There's no reason why E.J. Manuel should have a job.
Nope.
There's no reason why Cardell Jones should be having a job before. There's no reason why Kellen Moore of the Dallas Cowboys should be on the Dallas Cowboys. There's no reason why Jaleel Showers, who's done nothing, and this is from my favorite team, like Colin Kaepernick's better than them. Maybe next week I'll have a more extensive list of who he's better than, but Colin Kaepernick is a top. I'm being real conservative when I say this. He's a top 35 quarterback in the NFL. And if I were to really think it through, I could probably bring him up even higher.
Yep. I think so.
It's just ridiculous that he's not signed yet. I think he will get signed when some quarterback gets hurt during training camp. It'll happen. But it's just taking way too long. It's definitely taking way too long. How much time we got, Max? Wrapping it up. All right, Max. Yep. Oh, no. Max, real quick. Will Cleveland win Game 3?
Nah, I don't see it.
What about you, Thad?
I'll say yes.
I'm saying
I don't
no.
know for some odd reason I'm gonna just say yes.
I'm saying no. I just don't see it.
I bet they'll get one. It might not be Game 3. They'll get one.
It'll be the NBA rhetoric that for Golden State to win, that they win in Oakland.
It's probably true. Stern's orders, like my boy Harold Law says on BOK Sports 980. Hey, Max, I want to thank you for everything that you do. I want to thank you, Big Thad, for coming on to the show. You know you're always welcome.
Glad to be here.
I want to thank all the viewers and listeners. Follow us at all of our social media places, Sports Reality LV, and also the Sports Reality Facebook page where we put episodes up there. So if you missed parts of the show, or if you missed the show, you can definitely check us out on the Facebook page. Until next time, everyone, Sports Reality. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.